It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Now you can see how excited I am. Why? Because we have a very special guest joining us again this morning to chat about what we can expect to see trending in the food scene, and it's going to be big this year, I have a feeling. So let's give a massive welcome to food writer and just all-round wonderful human being, Herman is back. There was only one person we needed to plug into to get the latest trends for this brand new year, so good to have you here, my friend. First of all, how are you? Brand new year. Last year was insane. How are you feeling about 2024?
Yeah, I'm very excited. 2023 was very kind to me. She was a very good year.
I'm glad.
Yeah, a hectic year, but I think every year starts off with that mindset of a new start, new ideas, but it's excited.
Are you one for New Year's resolutions?
Oh, yes, I am, but I never keep to them. What's today? The 10th, I already forgot. Eat healthier, gym more, forgot that already.
Yeah, no, but you also play in a space where it's difficult, okay, to stay true to these things because there is so much going on in the foodie world. And if anything, it felt like last year, because I've watched our foodies, those playing in the online space, just level up.
Yes.
There is such a resource online for picking up new trends, cool ways of doing things, maybe reintroducing flavor palettes, old school recipes, all sorts of cool things have been unearthed. But it does require now, moving into a new year, a firm focus on what's coming. So we thought we'd bring you on board to have a look at some of the really cool trends that are going to be playing out. And obviously, yes, we found a lot on TikTok, but there is a lot going on underpinning this within the culinary world, which is very, very exciting. So let's crack on with some kind of trends that have been bubbling under and that are really going to break this year. So modernized comfort food.
Yeah, so that's sort of a big thing for me, you know, especially as South Africans, but worldwide. If we look back at the past 3 years, you know, that disease we will not mention, Miss COVID, it made us more conscious of living an easier life. I think less uncomplicated. So we're looking for things that is clean and just easy to understand.
I love the fact, you know, butter boards, anything on a board. And actually, the board saved me with my kids. I now create picture boards with the food to get them to eat things, and I get them to do it with me, so they're invested in the outcome. But it's great. Do you think the board is going to be how we are going to serve and eat everything this year, even if it's a butter board?
The board makes me nuts, you know. I grew up in an Afrikaans home, so I was altijd 'n plattertjie op die tafel, you know. But yes, boards are big. If you look at, I mean, go to TikTok, that's where where trends, you call, like in fashion, we'll go street fashion. I see TikTok as the food street fashion in a way.
That's a
so
good way
butter boards are huge. I think people, like you said, like to express their creativity, building textures, creating pictures, beautifying things, you know. Everyday stuff that we see, butter is an everyday ingredient, beautifying them with beautiful edible flowers, herbs, you know, just making things beautiful, and that's the joy of food, in essence.
And all of this feeds, you know, when we talk about going vegetarian or vegan, however you want to classify yourself in that sense, a lot of this is underpinned, again, by a very healthy shift towards better eating, but it means we've got to take a bit more time to make the food look better, taste a little bit better, bring some gravitas when we're doing that. So that's great. There are a couple of things here that are very familiar to me, so I want to see how we're going to reimagine some of these as new trends within 2024. Let's start with the humble tahini. Why is this a buzzword right now?
If you haven't tasted tahini yet, you haven't lived.
Yeah.
I think most people are familiar with tahini in hummus. I mean, it's a classic ingredient of hummus. It's made from sesame paste. Basically, it's sesame peanut butter in essence. Recent travels in Europe, you see tahini coming out in desserts, especially in desserts. Because tahini's got a very subtle, not a very subtle, very strong bitter flavor. It pairs very well with stuff like dark chocolate. It offsets very well, very
it's a sounding
sweet.
Board.
Exactly, yeah. Those two opposites. We know when we cook, it's important to always go for the salt, sweet, the bitter. And flavor profile of tahini, bitter is a flavor profile that people often don't see as positive.
Yeah, you shy away from it, especially in a dessert space.
Exactly. But when you want that full mouth feel, bitter is very important. And tahini is a wonderful ingredient. Also, Middle Eastern cooking, it goes part of that sort of movement. Middle Eastern cooking's been coming for a while. If you think of people like Ottolenghi and sort of that abundance of food. And I think tahini is finding its way into other desserts more and more, especially, like I said, recent travels, I've seen it everywhere.
Completely, and it also speaks to kind of the meze way of eating, where
Exactly.
you can combine different flavors. You can be quite bespoke about how you
Yeah.
create. I love that. There are going to be a lot of people trying to balance that and looking at
Yes.
sweet flavors in a different way because of that. I should have started this one because this is one of my... I can honestly eat an entire loaf of bread as French toast. It is the year of the French
Exactly.
toast.
If the people don't agree with me, I'm going to make it a year of
Oh,
French
yeah,
toast.
I'm there with you. I will back you up.
Yeah, I love eating French toast. I think also in a subtle, conscious way, it ties into the sustainability angle of
sure.
things. So using stale bread in new ways. But especially French toast is moving away from just classic, like we know French toast made in a pan. Think of French toast cakes. Think of beautiful donuts made in French toast style. Reimagined again. Sort of old classics moving into a new way, new textures, combining new flavors. That's the magic of food, I suppose.
And when you look at the base ingredients involved, when you talk about low-income kind of options here, where you can make something quite bougie with a little bit of French
Yes.
toast, there is
Eggs,
something...
milk and bread, there you go.
Boom, done. Are you savoury or sweet when it comes to your French toast?
Both. I find it very interesting that savoury French toasts are coming around. I often do it actually at my house. If you think about a beautiful brioche loaf, some olives, beautiful flavours of the herbs in there, combine that with like a beautiful cheese, like a Parmesan or a Gruyere. Wow. You create something different. Think of it as an easy souffle, actually, in its way. You know, you don't have to worry about...
There's no chance of a flop because the bread is there.
It's already flopped.
It's already flopped. I love that.
It's all about flavours.
When we talk about old friends getting a brand new bag, baby, iceberg, dead ahead.
Yes.
Look, we've come a long way when it comes to lettuce, and I know it's a smorgasbord, literally, of different flavors, but the iceberg is back.
Yes, and I'm so excited. I grew up with iceberg. I mean, I grew up in Uppington. That's all we had was iceberg lettuce. If you have, that's because you
The
got all sorts of
irony
cold.
that the only lettuce is iceberg.
Yes, in the hottest place in the planet.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the wedge salad, we all know the wedge salad from the 80s, it's coming back again. I think it's moving also, all trends, they go together. Like if fashion and food, there's always that underlying connection between the two.
For sure, and we're all retro at the moment.
Exactly, and living cleaner and living simplistic, easier, things that we know already, old classic flavors, a little bit of a new take on it. Imagine, like I think, the classic blue cheese creamy dressing, add a bit of tahini in there, just to make it a bit elevated. Ooh. Beautiful crispy fried bacon on there, again, olives or capers, you know, beautiful flavors, easy but yet impressive.
Oh, and powerful flavors.
Yes.
I love that as well. Go and have a little bit of fun. Grains are of special interest to me because of the health benefits involved in many. And I think we often go kind of all in with one when it becomes a trend without understanding why it's so important to take these things in. And oat bran was something that I discovered while kind of on my fasting journey that was really beneficial. Buckwheat is now the grain, in grain this year. Who would have thought that grains would be in?
Yeah.
But this is a big thing.
I get very excited when people speak about grains. I love Africa. This is the most beautiful continent we can have. For sure. And our continent is rich in so many grains and indigenous grains. If you think of pearl millet, I mean, there's so many. But buckwheat actually, in essence, is gluten-free, so it's a healthy alternative. But also the flavour. If I close my eyes and I taste this beautiful nuttiness, a bit of nutmeg, cinnamon, that's what you get from the grain. Yes, earthiness. And again, buckwheat pairs very well with things like dark chocolate. It goes very well in desserts, baking. And because it's gluten-free, it's got a very fine texture. It's a really beautiful grain to use.
And I would imagine that extends to cooking and playing around in other spaces as well. You've mentioned sustainability and a shift towards that a couple of times now, and it feels like that used to be kind of a marketing whitewash a lot of the time, where you were doing it based on what someone had told you. It didn't really feel like we had kind of matured to that point where we fully understood what sustainability was really about. We thought it was a notion for maybe below the breadline communities to just get them above the breadline, but it's not about that. It's about a collective understanding of the impact that we're having on our planet.
Completely.
Does it feel like, because you have a front row seat, does it feel like we're getting this right now?
We are. I mean, sustainability is no longer just a buzzword.
Yeah.
It's simply just, you have to do it.
It's a strategy. Yeah, it's our strategy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's also important about sustainability, it moves away from just zero plastic. Of course, those principles are important, but it's the way that chefs care about their staff, getting them home safely, getting them rested, well energized, looking after their mental health. And all of those things collective is about sustainability, because in the end, sustainability in its core means how are we going to move forward and preserving what we have. And if you look at
Completely.
South African chefs as a general, I mean, if you look at Fane, that last year they won that International Sustainability Award, chefs are definitely moving forward. People like Callan Austin from Dusk, the things that
Yeah.
he's doing, thinking out of the box, it's
And it
just
becomes
incredible.
an asset. It's not a
Yes.
shackle keeping them back by any
No.
stretch. If anything, it becomes a point of differentiation.
Completely.
I love that. So it seems strange in a part of this beautiful country where we were running out of water. I can understand that, yes, we appreciate our water so much more now.
Yeah.
I had no idea that you can get a water sommelier.
Yeah.
What is that about?
So I'll be honest with you, the first time I read about it, I thought, oh, it's one of those
Yeah.
marketing fads, I'm a water sommelier, until you've experienced it. So basically, it's people who specialize in the art of pairing water with wine, not necessarily with food, because the food is always stronger than the flavor of
For
water.
sure, but there's a mineral content.
Exactly. And the weight of water. The minute you start, the first time I had a water tasting, I completely blew my mind. The weight of water in your mouth, that mineral levels, where the water comes from, different areas in the world, it's just completely mind-blowing. And it definitely has an impact on the way your wine tastes. A beautiful sip of a water that's a very heavy mineral water, and then you taste the wine, it opens up a complete different flavor in your mouth. It's really worth, go out and find someone who does it. It's slowly but gradually growing in South Africa, but it's really something magical.
And I'm sure we'll get the price tags to go with it, my friend, which...
It does, like any good experience, it comes with a price tag. But we are all, we are allowed to have the best experiences and go find
Exactly.
something new this year.
And as long as purpose is driving it, as long as you're
Exactly.
doing it for the right reasons, you can
Yes.
enjoy these finer things because, as you say, it forms the pinnacle of a pyramid that's built on sustainability, built on better foodies, built on a
Yes.
better understanding of the ecosystem we're playing in.
Exactly.
Oh, buddy, I think you're going to have the best year ever. I think 2023 was a good year, as you say,
Yeah.
but looking into your face and feeling this energy, I think 2024 is going to
Yeah.
be even better, my
I'm
friend.
excited for this year. I'm excited for the food scene in general in the world. I think simplicity is my sort of key word. That understanding that simplicity goes a long way.
Yeah, it really does, because if you're going to get it right when it's that simple, it needs to be brilliant.
Exactly.
Just like you and I, man. Simple and brilliant. Together we go perfectly. Don't go anywhere because we're not going to let this genius move a muscle. He is going to share, yes, it has to be French toast cake. A recipe is on the way. This is actually, and I never get to say this on the show, a first in the Expresso kitchen. We can't wait to try it.